061. Welcome back to another Bit Legend video, fellas. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to take you through all of the updates that have been announced in update 0.6.1. Okay, so there's a lot here. Let's get on through it. Remove the shield word library. I think that's just like a text change. I don't think that really does anything. Number 2, during the bidding period of Guild Boss, members who are not logged in within the 48-hour period can be kicked from the guild. So let's go to guild. Let's go to members. You scroll to the bottom. You see who's been offline for so long. Of course, nobody in our guild's been offline for more than 24 hours because it's kind of how we roll. But they can be removed. Previously, if there was anything in the auction window, like you see here, the guild's leaders and officers and whatnot were not able to kick anybody. But guild leaders kind of wanted full control. And I think 48 hours is very generous. I would probably, I don't know, maybe just make it so you can't kick anybody while there's an auction up. But 48 hours is kind of, I don't know. It's improvement. We'll leave it there. It could be better, it could be worse, but it's improvement. Add production team list. That is in the settings interface. So hopefully if I remember at the end of the video, I'll click into settings and I'll show you what that is all about. Because it's kind of cool. Added a display status of whether the boss has been defeated and has been added to the replica. I'm going to jump into some content eventually when I get through what I want to show you guys. Just kind of have something for you guys to watch in the background, and then you'll see what this is. There is a notification at the top of the screen that shows you if the boss in the map has been killed. So that's pretty cool, and I want to see it in-game. So this will be the first time seeing it for me on live. Number 5, the way to buy multiple items becomes more convenient and intuitive. This also works for events. So I don't have an event right now that I can show you how that works, but basically we're going to the exchange tab. Let's say I want to convert a ton of these green materials into a ton of the blue materials, but I don't want to click it every single time. I'm going to click on the exchange button and oh my goodness. So you can exchange a ton at once. This is awesome. If you accidentally click too much, too bad, you should have been more careful. If I click this button, exchange right now, I would lose all of my 3,060 gold, or 360,000 gold. Why can't I say numbers? Anyways, so just be careful with that, but it's an awesome change. It also applies to basically everything else here. Like if I wanted to convert my PvP coins into GVG tickets, which is, by the way, what all the cool kids do, there you go. You can convert it all right there. Also, keep your heads up. I think on the Sunday gold find, item find bonus, I am going to do a ton of GVG. I'm going to get as many rune shards as I can. I'm going to do a ton of ordeal, get a ton of gold, math it all out so that I can do it, and I'm going to roll over 5,000 rune shards, and hopefully we can finish off these runes, or the chips, whatever. Chip materials, you get it. So stay tuned for that. That'll come later in the week. New monsters in Raid 8. That is the next topic. So let's talk about that. Anytime they add new monsters in the game, you click on your monster button on the right side of the screen in the user interface. I'm going to go to Epic because the raids always have 3 epic monsters and I think 2 legendary monsters. Typically, and we're going to scroll right down here. So you know you're in the right spot because the dinosaur is one of the monsters for Raid 6. And then if you go over, the next 3 are for Raid 7. I've shown those previously. And then the last 3 right before the blue guy transformer. These are the ones that are in the Raid 8, which you unlock by getting to zone 14 or 15 or something like that. If you're there, you know. So anyways, number 1, Bio Warrior. 10% hit point regen. We don't actually know if hit point regen works. I haven't seen it work in game, but that's a separate topic for another day, and that has been reported. His stats are pretty balanced, no big deal there. Closest enemy, 1 SP, attack all enemies, so you're definitely going to feel that. He has a 1 SP weakest enemy, and then he has a 2 SP shield all allies. So you're going to feel all of these attacks. These are all very significant. And then with the 1 SP weakest enemy, this raid is most likely the birth of the bait tank. Bait as in like fish bait. And what that means is it is a defensive player with low stamina so that all of the attack weakest skills go to them and they have enough defensive bonuses to survive. So we'll talk more about that as we show more of these guys. But yeah, let's jump in. So the next guy, 10% damage. He's lower on health, but he's higher on offensive stats. If you see this guy with the rifle, you want to snipe him out in raid 8. Closest enemy, target enemy. In my experience, the autopilot puts the target enemy attack on the weakest enemy anyways. So that seems to be how the autopilot does it. So again, you can consider this basically an attack weakest when you're fighting against it when the enemy's doing the autopilot, how it always does. 1 SP attack, 2 randoms. So, there you go. And then he has a 2 SP attack closest enemy, very high multiplier, as it should be with 2 SP, and closest is pretty high damage. So high damage guy, you see this guy, you want to snipe him out. He's got half the health of the other ones. The 2 SP, or the attack 2 random, is something, it's considerable. This is going to be the raid that really makes people want to have a redirect or a taunt attack ability, or some way for the tank to take these hits from their team, or like maybe a guard ability where you could like guard someone on your team and you could just block for them. I don't know, I'm throwing ideas out. The third guy, Bio Axe King. All these guys look pretty cool, but I'm gonna leave it at silhouette and let you guys figure it out when you unlock the content, or maybe I'll show like raid content in the future. He's got crit, he's got fairly balanced stats, a closest enemy, 2 SP close, or excuse, I keep saying it wrong. 1 SP attack 2 closest enemies. He's got a 2 SP attack strongest enemy. This is going to hit hard because strongest, I believe, is the hardest hitting attack in the game. And he's got a 2 SP attack weakest. So here is another attack weakest. Pretty cool animations. Like I said, the bait tank is going to be strong. So now let's go and take a look at legendaries. We're taking a peek. This guy, he already exists. This is the boss for Raid 7. I've shown you guys that before. And then if we click under Thunder Beasts, we can find Iron Girl. Now, I looked all around. I couldn't find a legendary goblin. I don't know if there is one. Maybe it's only Iron Girl. So there could be another legendary lurking. I couldn't find it. And there is no mythic option here. So let's click on Iron Girl. Okay, 50% damage, 5% triple, balanced stats but offensive. And then doesn't that silhouette look familiar? Yeah, we'll talk about that. 0 SP closest enemy, 1 SP attack random, 1 SP attack furthest. So this is the only furthest attack in the entire raid. So based on that, your best composition for this raid is going to be high stamina tank in the front slot, low stamina tank, that bait tank in the second slot, and then fill the rest with DPS players. If you have any healers that have the healer set has a lot of defense, so you could throw them in the furthest slot. That way, if they get popped by this attack, they're most likely to survive. If you have 3 tanks, you could run it, but I don't think it would be the best way for you to do it. I still think 2 tanks is gonna end up being better. Also, if you ran 3 tanks and you're a DPS player and you're getting carried by your raid team, which is kind of the way that it typically is, you're not gonna do a ton of damage with 1 DPS player. So, like I said, 2 tanks and then fill the rest with DPS. The last skills here, so 3 SP closest enemy, that is going to hit hard. And also, this is the first pseudo 3D attack that we've seen in the game, the pseudo 3-dimension animation, I guess I should say. Very interesting. We're kind of going full anime here. Kind of reminds me of Sailor Moon, from childhood. I had one of those. I had a childhood, not a Sailor Moon. But there you go. Interesting how they use the sprite here. The legs stay in place and the torso spins. So we'll look at her art in game in a second. And then I have 3 SP heal and shield self. So interesting. Very interesting kit. She's usable if you get her, and she's interesting to fight. So this should be relatively fun. But take a look. That's her. That's her right there. So her legs stay in place, and then her torso spins around. Is she supposed to be like a half human, half cyborg kind of thing? Doesn't quite look like it. I think the gloves are cool. My personal preference, I feel it's a little bit weird and slightly jarring when you have different art styles in the same game. Sometimes it works out, but like if you look at the art for the pack store, it kind of contrasts. Like she would not live in the same world, but I don't know. I get it. It's very different art from this to this. But whatever, that's a preference thing. I think the gloves are cool. I would love to see some sort of more 8-bit looking version of those gloves as the tank weapon. Like if Thunder Fury looked like that on me, if I could get those big old fists, dude, somehow to scale, I don't know, that would be super cool. But anyway, so those are the monsters in Raid 8. And during this video, you've probably seen a ton of new set item names dropped up in, like you're seeing Steel Knife right there in my notifications. They have added set pieces from Q1 to Q7, so trying to spice up loot for newer players. There is no up-tier system currently in the game, so there would be no sense in trying to go to Raid 1, get a set piece, up tier it to quality 9. That's not a thing right now, and we don't know if it's going to be a thing in the future. But it spices up things, makes it more interesting. And apparently, we've been seeing so much loot, they seem kind of common. So who knows? I might have to go back and go get some cosmetics if they look good. That might, I think they drop from Raid. I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't know what the drops are, but maybe if they're interesting, I'll put more info on that in the channel. But there is more for me to cover. Let me jump into some content to give you guys something to watch. Let's do this. Let's do a little PvP. PvP is gonna make me have to pay attention too much, though. You know what? Let's just go auto. So the since we're doing PvP, this is a good place to talk about it. Maximum dodge, absorb, reflect, and damage reduction is 70%. So that is the cap. The cap on dodge, damage reduction, absorb, and reflect is 70% across the board. Block is still going to go to 100% because that's how block works. So fairly interesting. Now, if you take end gear or end tier, end game gear, and you add it up, so that's your talents, that's your mount, that's your chips, your amplifiers, everything, you're going to get around 200% bonuses total. That is a ton. So we're going to call that utility, 200% utility. How many tickets do I have here? Do I have 3? I do have 3. 200% utility. So theoretically, if you could control all your gear and get exactly the pieces that you wanted, you could theoretically get 70 block, 70 damage reduction, 70 dodge, 70 damage reduction, and still like 100 in block. That's theoretically possible. Now you're limited by the reality of what gear is available and what's in game and all that. But if you add up all the bonuses, you can do that. And remember, block counts for half. So 100 block is worth 50 damage reduction. So it's 50 utility there. So yeah, if you're only doing dodge and you had 70%, that is 70% dodge is a 30% chance to get completely destroyed with one hit. However, if you get 70% block and then you start supporting it with other things, then it becomes very interesting and very, very strong. So there you go, something to know. It's all capped at 70. In settings, you may have noticed that I don't have a pet right now. And hopefully I'll get hit so we can see my pet healing to make sure that it still works. I'm sure that it does. But you can turn off your pet cosmetic. You can turn off your accessory cosmetic. If your pet or accessory cosmetic is bugged when you log in the game, go into settings, and I'll show that in the end. Click it off, click it on, click it off, click it on, click it off, click it on, and then it should work out for you. Just plug it in. Or what is it? Turn it off, turn it on again. When the war system is reset, all players will be randomly assigned. The occupation status of all strongholds will be also reset. So if you've been stuck on like blue team and you don't want to be on blue team, well, good news for you is that you get randomly assigned. So it's pretty good. If they didn't make it random, then people like myself would coordinate. We put all the strong players on one color when you run the board, and that probably wouldn't be great for the game. But whatever. It would be fun for me. So I think this is fair. Also, when the war system is reset, your rank won't go all the way back to 1. It'll be reduced by 10. So right now, I think we've got a week left, and I've been free to playing war. So I'm at like rank 15. So I'm going to go back to rank 5. That's nice to see some sort of forward progress. I didn't really like the idea of dropping all the way back to beginning rank. Didn't really make too much sense to me. But pretty cool. You're incentivized to stay active and keep working on it, but you're not going to lose all your progress. It's pretty good. And then this is something that I've talked about before. So if you're sticking through the video, I will tell you all about the guild boss changes. We do not know if they are live right now. Do not jump into guild boss because all 3 of our guildies that tried to jump in guild boss, they all crashed out. So check in Discord before you jump in Guild Boss to know that it's all good to go. But we do not know if these changes are live right now because nobody can fight the thing because it crashes. Also, the damage done in the crash fight has not been adding to the Guild Boss damage meter. At least that's what I was told. So, Guild Boss number 1. Guild Boss number 1, the health increased by 700%. Guild Boss 2, the health increased by 650%. Guild Boss 3, the health increased by 515%. Guild Boss 4, the AoE attack damage has been reduced by 35%. So it's not going to one-shot your team. It might not two-shot them, but if it crits, there's still a good chance that it could kill all your guys. So we shall see, and I'll show you some content there probably tomorrow when I fight the thing. Guild Boss 4, increased shield ability has been removed and is now attacking the nearest 2 enemies. So the Guild Boss 4 had 2 shielding skills. One was either a 1 or 2 SP shield self that was doing 18,000, and there was a 4 SP shield doing 27,000 shielding. The way this reads, I think they only removed the 4 SP self shield. So there might still be a shield there. And fairly difficult. Also, you see the Pioneer up in the top of the screen there. That tells me that the boss of this map is still alive in the map. So that's pretty cool. But make sure you see that on the screen. But anyways, yeah. So I think the big shield is removed. I think the small shield remains, but that needs to be tested. Maybe they took out both shields. I don't think shielding is a great mechanic for Guild Boss, but we'll figure it out. We'll see if it works. Yeah, definitely going to be a major improvement there. And there is attack front 2. If they remove the 4 SP self shield and replace it with a 4 SP attack front 2 skill, that is going to hit very hard. And so you're definitely going to need some beefy tanks in the front. So good luck with that. And again, I'll show you Guild Boss 4 tomorrow. The new updated Guild Boss 4. Assuming that everything works and all these changes are live this week. These changes might go live next week. You know, the developers are in an interesting spot there. If they update it this week, then it helps the guilds that are on Guild Boss 4. If they update it next week, then, or if they update it this week, it would be difficult for smaller guilds that are currently, like right now, on Guild Boss 2 and Guild Boss 3 because their health is going to skyrocket. But, well, you had a swing at it earlier. You had a swing at it when it was weak. So hopefully you got some loot out of it. All guild bosses in Rage will be moved from 30 actions to 25 actions, and those are boss actions. So previously, and then you see at the top, you've defeated guild boss, or not guild boss, but you've defeated the boss. Previously, the boss would enrage after the boss has done 30 attacks. Now it's going to be moved to 25 attacks. This is going to slightly make it less important for survival and make it more important for dealing more damage in a shorter time, because a loss of 5 boss rounds is actually significant. I think players are going to feel that, so that's going to be interesting. And then also throw in here the legendary monster Bug Eye. The deflect has been moved to 18%. Let me see if I can find him and see if that is in-game that I can show you. It used to be 12%. That was incorrect because epics have 13.5, and so this has been changed. We're going to have to find him. But it should be 18%. We're seeing, there he is. We're seeing a lot of deflect. I think it's kind of hard to change it now, but in hindsight, I think having 3 epic deflect tanks, especially ones that are so easy to make, is the root of the problem. Because now you can get 4 deflect tanks. You can get Bug Eye. You can get all the other guys that I've shown in previous videos, and that's gonna be spicy. But I think Bug Eye's a good tank. He's got really good stats. You could put Blue Universe in the front and Bug Eye in the second slot if you're a DPS trying to fight the boss. That's probably the best thing to do right now. Can I find Blue? Where is he? He should be at the bottom. What am I doing? There he is. Blue Universe. Both difficult to make, but they're definitely worth it. The healing skill can heal a ton. A couple DPS players told me that he was the only healer they brought, and it kept their entire team healed when they fought Guild Boss 1, 2, and 3. So he's in the front. He's taking all the hits. He's healing your team. You got a bunch of damage in there. Guild Boss 4 is different, though. You're going to want to diversify your strategy a little bit. And yeah, let's see if okay, last little batch of updates. So let's go on over here. And what did I get? I think it's oh, look at that. Let's collect it. Last couple bit. You've made it to the video this far. Let's finish it. When a guild boss is defeated, All guild members will get 2 honorary medals. Guild store adds the honorary medal product page. Players can use honor medal to buy honor trophies. So that is loot from guild bosses, but it will be random. So the trophy will be random. The ability of the equipment is roughly equal to the loot drop by Guild Boss 3, so we can go look at their loot. And there will be no Thunder Fury materials in there as well. So let's go Guild Boss, and we're clicking on the loot for Guild Boss 3. So basically, it's going to be roughly equal to what you see here. And what I think is the most important part of the whole thing is when a guild boss is defeated, and again, all the stuff I'm saying right now is going to go live, I think, next week, the guild will get boss reset points. Guild boss 1 through 4 will give 1, 4, 10, and 20 points respectively. And you're going to need 30 points to reset all the guild bosses. So there you go. They come back full life. You fight them again, no big deal. So once your guild is clearing at least 3 bosses by day 3, then your guild should consider, do you want to reset and fight guild boss 1 through 3 again? Or if you're a super strong guild and you can kill guild bosses 1 through 4 before the 3rd day, then you reset it and you can fight the bosses basically twice per week. And then if you get stronger, maybe you can do more than that. But that's pretty cool. That is an amazing idea. I wonder who came up with that. It's an amazing idea, I'm just saying. And you can also see the competitor's nickname of trophy based on who is bidding. Okay, yeah, so let's go to the auction page. Oh, wow, the set piece, the auction already happened. But you can see the name of the highest bidder. So I think it's going live next week. And then you can see there should be a log that'll be added somewhere, probably here, where you can see who won what bid, and you can deal with that as a guild. There you go. There you go, fellas. Let me see if I can click on the settings thing. I think my filming overlay. Can I move you? Nope. Whatever. Check out settings. You can toggle on and off your pet and your accessory cosmetic. And then also, if you go into settings, there is a button at the bottom called Developer. Take a click on that and see what you see, fellas. See what you see. But as always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.